Let's do it, y'all.
We walk.
Our moment has come. We declare that your will be done.
Our mission is to stand united as a ministry that equips people to live life, to produce purpose, and to walk in power. Welcome to the Heart of God Family Worship Center, where we do life.
Welcome to the heart of God, where we do life.
Welcome to the heart of God, where we do life.
Where we do life. We declare it is our season, and we declare our moment has come. We declare our time is now. We declare let your will be done. So we declare it is that season, and we declare God's moment has come. And we declare God's time is now. When we declare let your will be done.
We walk in miraculous. Don't make no sense kind of favor. We walk in miraculous. Don't make no sense kind of favor. We walk in miraculous. Don't make no sense kind of favor. We walk in miraculous. Don't make no sense kind of favor.
Let's do it, y'all.
We walk. We walk.
Our moment has come. We declare that your will be done. Welcome to the heart of God, where we do life.
Welcome to
Everybody, and praise the Lord. Welcome to another episode of Heart of the City. I'm excited tonight to have us on tonight. For those of you that are watching for the first time, those of you that are tuned in with us, those that are even here with us in the sanctuary, tonight is going to be a very powerful night. Listen, I need you to do me a favor. First of all, for your first-time guests, I want you to say something in the comments section, whether you're watching on YouTube or any one of our social media platforms. Listen, we just want to know who you are and where you're from. I need everyone that can please share this broadcast immediately. Can everyone just get your phone out, hit the share button? Tonight we have a magnificent topic tonight. I got a group of guys on here that's going to be absolutely dynamic. You're going to enjoy these individuals. These brothers are off the chain. You hear me? They are off the chain. So tonight's topic, we're having a panel on fatherhood, and tonight's topic is SuperDad. SuperDad. So tonight, my guest tonight, first we have, I don't know what y'all did to me here. We got Carice Foster, owner of Good Brothers General Services. And then we have Brother Joe Bell, Deacon Joe Bell, owner of B&B Cleaning and Landscaping Services, LLC. Justin Anthony, Wells Fargo Wealth Advisor and Halo Program Director. Mike Kibler, the hotel manager, and Constantino, I'm going to butcher your last name. Say it, bro.
Petru or Petru.
Petru, I got it, all right. From Family Services, also Family Development Specialist, parents as teachers of Family Services. And also runs a program called Work-Life Balance, Blended Families, Financial Hardship Accountability and Visibility. Practice what you, those are the topics, aren't they?
Yeah.
Is that what that is?
Yeah.
All right, listen, it happens. Well, listen, tonight we get ready to get right into it. And we who did I miss? And we got Pastor Dimitri Horton. That's the way they put it on here. It's the way they put it on here. It wasn't on here right. Are you finishing touches? All right, this is Pastor Horton. His business is Finishing Touches, LLC. Did I get it right? All right, good. So I don't want to mess that up. All right, I'm sorry. I apologize. Listen, you got to see it. They don't have your name at the top, so I thought something happened. I really didn't know. Do I have the rest of the things I need in here now? All right, thank you very much, because y'all got me on TV messing up here, all right? So listen, tonight we're talking about SuperDad. We're talking about SuperDad, but we're going to just open up the conversation. It's going to be freestyle. It's going to be uncensored. We're going to talk about some things that might be sensitive, but I'm sure that all of us, everyone that's watching, has had a father or dealing with different things. Different men are dealing with things. Fathers are dealing with things. And I know that there's no perfect parent. There's no perfect father. How difficult is it to be a father? So at the top of our list, our first part of our conversation, we're going to talk about work, life, and balance. Work, life, and balance. What does work, life, and balance look like for a man? Watch this. What if he's a man that has to work a couple jobs and he's got a family, got kids, and all that other kind of stuff? Anybody? Y'all just jump in. Can I believe this?
I can start. The main thing I would say, work stays at work, and at home, we're at home. So, a lot of times when we're juggling different things at the same time, we tend to either be on the phone or we're getting a call while we're trying to spend quality time with the family. So, we got to set boundaries and do basically the right thing and to dedicate each thing to what it needs to be, right?
There's something very important with juggling. So what I learned about juggling was some things are high priority, some things are low priority. You know what I mean? But everything gets touched. So ultimately, in our day, with I got to go make the money, but I have to tend to my kids and I have to tend to my wife. It's all the same thing. It all gets touched in the day. So it's so balance comes with priority. I have to know what the priority is at the time. Whatever. So when I'm working, that's it. But when the kids call, that's it. When my wife calls, that's it. You know what I mean? At the time. So that's how I see it.
I would add on to that. Work-life balance also includes having a routine, right? Because when you're on a schedule, your family can understand, all right, dad gets home at 6, but he may not physically be available till 7. So having that routine and constantly working that routine allows for the things to open up where you can then balance. So for that hour that I'm not available, then the next hour I know that I have this going on, so it works on timing.
And that's even hard too, because you have to stretch yourself as a person. You're only one person doing many things, and as we heard from many of the panelists already, that they're all important and they're all priority. But being one person having to do all those things, even if you get an hour rest before you take on the next challenge, you still have to do those things. So it's hard stretching yourself into 3 parts, if you will, being one person, but sometimes it just has to happen.
As men, I've learned that we have a statement that we say we have to do this and that. So in balance, nothing can fall. That's the mindset that we have anyway. Nothing can fall, but we're only human. So it's like Pastor Horton said, we have to have our best to touch everything. You may not be able to, you may miss some games, but you know, they also have to understand that they need lights on. It's not easy to balance everything. But I think the importance is if you can learn to touch everything. And like they said, priority matters. Having lights on matters. And a lot of men the family may not understand, but as a man, there's things that you're going to have to say, I have to do that anyway.
Let me ask a question. And Carice, I'm going to let you talk. I'm going to add this and then let you go. I just want to ask this question. So how do you handle when your children are looking and, you know, the disappointment that they live? How do we manage that? Carice, why don't you come behind with that one?
Yeah, well, I instill in my kids that balance never looks like this as a man. Balance is always like this. And the only time it looks like this is when you're transitioning from one thing to the other, because everything is important. My kids are important. My wife is important. My church is important. My business is important. And all of these things are at high demand at all the time. So you can't do everything at all the time. So what I instill in my son, you know, and Trayvon, who's all over the world running track, is, hey, you know, your time is right now, but my church is calling me right now. So I might can be at every track meet during the winter, but now my wife is calling. She's feeling like she needs a little bit more attention. I got to give her the attention now. Now the church is calling, or the pastor's calling, and he need a couple things.
I ain't bothering you.
And they, yeah, I know.
He is.
That's kind of the problem. But anyway, you're not bothering me. I need to be bothered. I'm screaming that all the time. But anyway, you know, and to me, that's how I balance my life. That balance is in the imbalance, knowing that I can't be everywhere at once, but I'm going to give this time when it's needed. I'm going to give this time when it's needed. I'm going to give that time when it's needed.
Can I add on
Come
that?
on, let's go.
A word, I'm sorry, I beat you to it. A word I think that jumps in listening to what Carice is saying is consistency, and that's them seeing you do the same thing all the time. It brings more understanding, I believe. Even in my kids having to work, you know, certain times and missing some things, they see me do it all the time. So I was consistent. So it wasn't like it was a letdown, if you will. They were kind of, you know, Dad, you couldn't make it, I understand that, but they knew I had to do whatever. And if I could do it, I'm there. I'm the first one there. I'm the loudest one. I'm the biggest cheerleader, whatever. So I think if you're consistent, they understand that if you couldn't make it, I already know Dad's at work.
So I wanted to quick hop in too, because I purposely wanted to make sure that I didn't miss games, period. So when my older son was playing baseball, I ain't missed no games. I was always there, but it was a stretch on me to make sure that, hey, I got to do work, I got to do that, but I'm going to this game because I wanted him to be able to see me there. And if I absolutely could not make a game, they knew, all right, something else was kind of going on. But I made sure that I was consistent in that regard, you know what I mean, because I wanted to be present.
But I think as well, we have to be able to communicate that to them. Just not showing up says something different than, yo, Daddy has to work today. I won't make that.
Constantino, you want to say something?
No, I wanted to mention also, it's not only consistency, like that's key, but also quality while you're doing what you're doing. Because, you know, yeah, being present is the most important thing, because like they can say like, oh, he's here, but he's like on the phone or doing this and doing that. Like, yeah, we're juggling a lot of stuff, but we're also making sure that they understand and see, I'm here, I'm looking at you, I'm seeing what you're doing, I recognize what you're doing, and
That right there is the most important thing. It's just
Quality time.
it's when you're not there, your kids still know you're there.
Right.
Like, there's none of my kids will ever say to me that I'm not present, even when I'm not present, because what I instilled in them, it carries them through them moments.
Now, my challenge was because I started a church.
Yeah.
And I couldn't go to practices. So mom had to go to practice. I show up late to practice, but I've tried to make all the games. Then as we transitioned into having a full ministry of ourselves, all to ourselves the way we had it, there were certain things I didn't make. But I feel like, Justin, maybe you can chime in on this. I feel like I didn't have, they didn't struggle because I spent a lot of time early. Right, I made sure, because mom was working, we were always at the table. I made dinner, right? So when I didn't have those responsibilities, I was able to be where I needed to be. But then when things shifted, now we talking about living in a Christian home and being in ministry and all those other kind of things. It's a tremendous demand. How did that go with you?
What I will say is, as men, we have to sacrifice, and when I was younger, I didn't really understand that sacrifice because I didn't understand my relationship with the Lord. As me and I were talking throughout our years, and as my spirit grew, I had to understand that not only you a father to me in the physical, you're a spiritual father to over 300-something members and other people in the community. So seeing that sacrifice, like, okay, he doesn't forget about me. He does acknowledge me. I'm still his boy. We still go see movies. We'll get peanut M&Ms and chocolate pretzels. Like, he does all that. It may not be as frequent as I would have liked.
That's big.
But he still did it. And that little bit of sacrifice lets me know, like, when I'm in this position, I will see for myself. All those men out there, I encourage you to, heal those broken relationships with your fathers. They were sacrificing. They were doing things so that they could do for you and the next person, the other person. You don't get to determine how they spend their time. I think that's the failure within the children, where they think that, hey, your dad has to be here every second of the day. No, he does not, because one day he is not going to be here. One day Michael R.C. Anthony will be in the ground, and I will be required to stand on my own 10, and I wouldn't have been able to do that if I didn't see him sacrifice.
So the blessings in the sacrifice.
Sacrifice.
Let's anybody else got anything they want to share on this? Listen, wherever we going, right? Now watch this. I thought maybe let's go into handling emotions now.
Let me go.
Let me say this, because psychologically you deal with I'm not there, right? And a lot of us have come out of situations where our fathers weren't there, so we wanted to be better fathers. But then responsibility calls you to do something else. How do you handle that emotionally?
I'll jump in quickly because I'm exactly what you said. I'm a junior, and my father was not there. My mom and my dad split. I was very young. I didn't really know him until right before I got married. I got to meet him, and we're close now, but I didn't have that in my life, so that was a void. And the one thing I always promised, one of my prayers was, Lord, give me a son first, and I'll be what I didn't have. I'll be to him what I didn't have.
Wow.
So when you have that responsibility and then other things creep in and you're like, man, I made the vow, I'm never going to miss, I'm never going to that, understanding that you can't be emotional in that moment. You have to stand on something and you have to make that decision. You got to keep going. I had to work. I was in ministry. I had to do those things to make sure that he was okay, and then have 2 more after that. So yeah, not having that in my childhood, I think it framed who I was going to be as a father later, and then jumping in that frame and having to realize, he wasn't in my life for a different reason, but having to realize that, hey, I have to make some sacrifices here, but as Carice said, always still be present.
I find it weird. We talk about like emotional and being emotional. I had to learn how to parent differently. Because my father was there, but the way he parented and the way that I parent now are like, it's like we're talking about like night and day. Like, my dad kind of ruled with an iron fist, do what I say, whatever. And it was kind of out of a fear. But I learned later on, I'm like, if I don't teach my son, he'll never know. So it couldn't be just, it couldn't be fear. It had to be like reverential fear. You know what I mean? Like, hey, listen, I understand, Pop. You know what I mean? So I learned a different. So I learned how to parent without a blueprint. And the blueprint that I have today is nothing like what I came up in. It looks totally different, and I think my kids are better because of it, and I think I'm a better parent because of it, and I like where I'm at, and I would 100% teach this way other than the way that I learned. I'm not saying that other way was wrong. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? It's just another way. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I eliminate expectation. I don't let people put their expectation on me because that will drive me crazy. So I don't have, if I gotta go to work, I gotta go to work. Like I don't, if I feel bad, it's because I really wanted to go to that. I didn't really want to go to work. But I don't feel bad. How do I word this? I don't feel bad that I can't show up to the track meet. But I also know that my son ain't feeling bad that I didn't show up to the track meet. Not because he doesn't care, but because of relationship. Sure. And the only people that might say something like, well, you wasn't at the track meet, well, you did that, is somebody that's outside of me and his relationship. So as long as he's cool, I'm cool. Yeah. Now, I think that narrative would change if he was doing bad or if any of my kids were doing bad. And the narrative changes with my little daughter. Yeah, because she's different. She's not a boy. I got 4 boys and a little girl. Dealing with her, I'm like, I do have some emotion there. I'm like, I gotta make sure that I'm just as present with her, who likes to dance, who likes to act, who does things totally different. But I gotta make sure that I'm present for her in the way that she needs me. Sure. So. And that actually takes, I have to actually tell myself this. But with the boys, I didn't have to tell myself this. With her, it's like I got to make sure, to do things. Like we left church the other day and we went to the Hill School to watch a play. She likes to watch plays. I'm learning things from her about the play. She's like, yeah, it's going to be a one act. I'm like, what is that? There's no encore. What do you know about encore, I'm like, we get there, it's one act, but those moments, and then I purposely opened the door for her. She's like, okay, King. I'm like, she's a man. She felt good at that moment, but I did those things because now it's just me and her. All the boys is at the house. Yeah. So I say there's no emotion, but when it comes to her, there's definitely emotion.
The main thing that I always discuss in my fatherhood group about emotions and feelings is us as men, we don't know how to handle feelings. We don't learn how to handle them. We grow up and then sometimes we hit a wall and then, wait, how do I deal with this? And the main thing that I always focus or tell them to focus is, when you're in a plane and they say, when an emergency happens, you got to put your mask on first before you can, assist the person to your right or left. Mm-hmm. Same way, you have to learn how to deal with the feelings.
Wonderful.
And manage everything before you can assist your family, your kids, right? And then we're talking about the discipline. One of the things that I always focus or have them first focus is like the word disciple. This discipline, it comes from disciple, to teach and to guide, right? And so if we don't be that model, if we don't guide them, they're not going to have something to follow, something to,
Well, that whole emotional thing, and men, even as fathers, the volume in our house, how we react or respond to certain situations.
Yeah, I need help.
Particularly when if you got boys, you're dealing with you know, that issue, right? And you're going to have that conversation, right? But if you're dealing with girls and they're going out on the first date, you can't do a Martin Lawrence, right? And Will Smith.
Why
You
not?
absolutely can.
We can't.
Listen, no, listen. You're talking to a guy who doesn't have girls, but I got granddaughters, right?
Yeah.
And listen, I'm already protective, right?
4 or 5.
So, but if men err, we err in our emotions. We err in our emotions, and most of the time it's because we don't process well when a situation is going on. And I think as fathers, we have to learn how to manage that, how to learn the process when things don't go the way we want it to go, right? If they're on the foul line and they miss a foul shot, right? We can be disappointed. I'm not messing with y'all. We can be disappointed about that. But watch this. The same thing happens when they do something in life and they have a hiccup. They're not going to be able to hear us while our volume is up here. We're emotional. They don't hear that. You got to have that conversation. You have to be able to exercise some level of restraint so that you can get across the concern that you have. But if we don't do that, you know, they kind of, watch this, I'm not coming to you anymore. So emotions cause them to like, I don't want to be bothered with you.
Yeah, and what I will say is, and I credit my lady for this because, you know, I know that I'm a black and white person. If it makes me mad, it makes me mad. If it makes me sad, it makes me sad. So however I deal with a situation, well, that checks the box for mad. There's no in between. There's no radius, right? You know, I have this mental or virtual door. I'm not physically leaving the space. I'm not leaving your presence so you can feel like I'm walking out on you and not willing to deal with it. In my head, I just check and like, all right, this, that, and the third is already going on. She had a hard day. I had a hard day. If she's giving me 15, I may only be able to give 15. So realize where we're at, and as the man, leave from there and then check back in. But not physically leaving that space, because when you get into the practice of physically leaving, then that's all they know. And then that's how you carry your emotions. You always just pick them up and go instead of dealing with them.
Give me 1 second, y'all. We got a question?
So someone would like to know, what is your advice to the young fathers coming up? How important is it for them being in their daughters' lives, and what impact will it make if they aren't?
It will be a huge impact, okay? I have a program right now through my father's CDC called Community First. It's called HALO, and it's a youth mentorship program through sports education. And the hardest thing I have to deal with is the young ladies that come into the program, because, and you can attest, it'd be like, man, where is your dad at? You know, how are you acting like that? Something's not making sense. If you're not in a young lady's life at the early age, they're going to go astray. They're going to figure it out for their own, and they're going to want to become a woman too soon. And then they're now looking for love and relationships in the wrong places. So it's very important. Men will stumble, but women will fall. Okay? So you have to be there to catch the nicks and the bruises.
Preach, Justin.
Because it will
I don't have
happen.
my wallet on me, bro.
I wonder where he gets it from.
It will happen. It will happen. It will happen. You know, all these gentlemen up here have had a hand in my life, but I could tell you, if I was a female, it would be a lot more hand holding. Oh, Justin, where you going? How you been? What happened at school? And it's just to check in, because they know that women, they deal with emotions much differently than men do. They're going to wear it on their sleeve. They're going to let you know that they're upset. They're going to let you know that they're hurt. They're going to let you know that someone made them feel bad. And if you don't address that and figure out what made them happen, they could be wrong. It could be misinterpretation, but not being that echo back and forth, that vibration, to be lost.
I don't have any daughters, so I would say this. It's critical for him to be in her life, because she's going to look for a man just like him, period. All right? And if he's not there, then now she's shooting in the dark, trying to navigate a relationship without this individual as a role model to look at. So I think it's unfortunate now that we have a lot of single mothers out here who got kids who don't know anything about their father, that kid's dad. So I don't know what this kid's going to turn out to be. And it's almost kind of just like scary. So all I'm saying is, I just really, really kind of feel like every father, your presence is necessary, it's mandatory in the shaping of that mind of that baby girl or of that young man. It's critical. And if you're not there, you should be ashamed that why don't I feel like I need to be there? I will be asking, I said, why don't you feel like you need to be there? You know what I mean? So I think that's critical. I think tell them it's important, doggone it.
Somebody else?
As a father with, 5 daughters, it's super
A lot of
important.
gray up there, too.
Listen, yeah, from all of them. But it's super important because I was the first man they knew. I was the first man that showed them love. I was the first man. So without me in the picture, what do they have to draw off of? Right. What does a man do? How's a man supposed to treat me? And it's a shame because we see them in Halo, and it's like they all have daddy hurt. They're searching for, not that they're searching for a man, but they don't know what a man's love would do in their lives. So they react out. But they don't have the discipline that a dad would give them, saying, you know what, baby, that's okay. And not just strong, but the gentleness of a man. They don't know that. They don't know that.
Ooh.
That's good, man.
Good stuff.
That's real good, man. That's real good, man. That's good stuff. That's whatever, man.
Y'all, nobody else? What? Now listen, since we're here, right, and this is what I think is going beautifully. Let's talk about the blended family. Let's talk about the blended family because now I had to raise somebody else's child. Some of us, I don't know if everybody here has had. I'm hoping you tell your story a little bit because when you told me, I was like, wow, that's tremendous. But how do you deal with that? Because some of you here you're helping to raise somebody else's child, right?
Yeah, you got to deal with yourself first. You can't come into a situation where the other person didn't ask to be here. So when I met my lady, my oldest daughter, she didn't ask to be here. She's just here. So initially, right, we were talking, and I was like, man, like, I held myself. I got homies out here that got, 5 baby moms, 7 kids, this, that, and the third going on. I don't got kids running around anywhere. They know who I am. You know what I mean? So to come into a situation where it was already started, it was like, I had to reflect, like, is this what I want? I had to ask myself, be honest with yourself as a man. Can you handle this?
Wow.
Can you handle, right, the next time there's a visit, an old girl coming in and introducing you to this, that, and the third, and this is your child, but it's his child too. You could be a dad, but can you be a father? So when I took that on, and I credit this too to my old head Ernest White, my barber. His oldest son is not biologically his, but you would never know that.
Amen.
I remember one time I was like, "Yeah, what's your other son?" He said, "My son," and he knew I was young, but I didn't understand how he held that relationship. But he took that on, and he explained to me that they didn't choose to be here. So if you're here for that woman, and that woman makes your emotions go this way, and y'all feel complete in a circle, then that part of that piece is part of her circle because her emotions are outstretched of she has the relationship with her child. So you have to deal with yourself first. So at first I wasn't good because I wanted my own. But as I had my own, God saw that, and he blessed me, and now baby boy will be here.
Yes, he
10th.
will.
April 10th.
Yes, he will.
April 10th, I'm in the building. So he knows. He puts men in a certain situation because he knows that these are the creations that I made. That one creation has failed, but this other creation will step up, just like me. Nobody would know. Nobody would know that Tyseer is not biologically me. You would never know. Drums, sports, taking him to school, pouring into his life, lessons there. Come on. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't have to do none of that. He could have been like, listen, Doc, you're 18, go ahead. Simple.
I'll say this. I got 4 boys. 2 are my biological children. 2 are my wife's biological children. 4 boys, 2 and 2, and me and my wife have a little girl together. Those boys are my boys. I raised them boys to love, even when their father wasn't present. I've never talked bad about their dad. I told them that, you know, I never wanted them to grow up with malice in their heart, you know, or, you know, because I understood, I knew their dad. I understood that it wasn't that he didn't love you, but he had his own things that he was dealing with. Now, that's as far as I go there, you know, and I will say this, all four of my boys are doing extremely well, and I think it's just as important for us as men to be there for them boys as it is for these young ladies. And in my life, what I see all the time is, you know, the importance of a father being present is the difference between a kid being in jail or going off to college or doing something magnificent with his life. All my kids are doing well for one reason, because I was present. You know, and to be honest with you, you know, my two kids that are not my biological, they probably call me more than my biological kids get on my nerves. Because they too much like me. You know, and that's not, they know I'm not sensitive to that. But I talked to Matt, you know, he called me to him. 3 of my boys are in Florida now. They live in Florida. He called me after work. Hey, what's up, Pop? What's up? I just got off of work. And now we having this conversation because he's selling timeshares and how you doing with that? You know, is there a, you know, you gonna hang that up soon or you gonna keep going? You know, we having this conversation and it's a great conversation. You my friend, you skipped over me. You didn't know that they was my, you didn't know? You probably didn't know that neither. That's crazy.
I didn't know.
I knew, Carice. I knew.
Constantino, let him tell us something.
Well, no. So I jumped in a situation that it was a little bit different. So I got 2 boys and a girl. My youngest is not my biological son. When I started dating my now wife, his dad had passed unexpectedly, and just his heart gave out, and that was it. So I wasn't only in a difficult situation because I had a kid that wasn't mine biologically. I felt weird because I didn't want him to feel some type of way that I was trying to replace his dad or things like that. So I had one conversation with my best friend, and he told me, you know, I thought if I ever in this situation, you know, I'm going to treat him like my son, but it was difficult. So he told me, just act like you, just treat him like your son, like you're already in your mind and you feel that he's your son, then treat him like that. And he's my son. And
Go ahead.
Wanted to quick hop in. So when I knew that I was going to marry my wife, I knew that she had a son. So I met my oldest son when he was 1 year old, and I've been raising him all this time. But my goal in his life wasn't to replace his father. My goal in his life was to fill in the gap. I just wanted to fill in the gap. I wanted to be the man that he needed to be his whole rest of his life. And I did a phenomenal job raising him. I think one day he got out the van. I was going to pick him up from daycare, and he said, "Stepdad." And I was like, "What?" I was like, "Don't you never call me that." I said, "You can call me Dimitri, or you can call me Dad. You choose." And he was like, all right, I'll call you Dad. And from that point on, he's been calling me Dad his whole entire life. And it's been a good time. And in 2019, he blessed us because out of nowhere, my whole family was here. And he says, he made an announcement. He said, "I'm going to change my last name to Horton." Man, I'm going to tell you, like, my whole family, we all just cried. And, like, it was kind of, we were blown away. And I was like, I never saw it coming. I never saw it coming. I just kind of sit there like, okay, all right, cool, you know, or whatever, you know, just kind of hype. But my family praised me because they like, "Dude, you did this. Your example did this. You made him want to buy into the family name." You know what I mean? And I tell you, like, my dad cried his eyes out. My brothers cried their eyes out because somebody wanted to be a part of this family name. You know, like, you're already a part, but like, I'm gonna take your last name. I was floored. So I'm grateful for the opportunity because for me, when I got married, I mean, my mind from New York, I'm like, I don't want a ready-made family. That was my mind. I don't want nobody with kids, but what God gave me had one. And I'm like, I'm gonna take her because she all right with me, you know, and I don't care what she coming with. Like,
Say it right, Doc.
I'm good with that.
You say
I'm good with that. You know, I'm good with that.
Say it loud.
And I would absolutely say I really feel like God dealt me a good hand. God dealt me a real good hand, you know. And there were times I would literally walk around and pray, and my prayer was I don't want to replace your dad. I just want to make sure that I'm a good man to you, because I want to show you how to be a good man. I think that was more important than anything, you know. And my son is 27 years old now. My oldest boy is 27 years old now, and he's living life and he's thriving, and he knows how to be a good man. So I'm happy for that.
When I think of blended families, right?
Come on. Come on, tell the story.
The word is blended, right? It's like putting it in a blender. So when they see your child, or what they would call the outside child, it should look no difference. As a man, when we come into these situations, right, it's a package deal. If you can't take her and the package, that might not be for you. Because
Joe be preaching for
no.
real.
It might not be for you, because what'll happen is you'll damage that child. And that's your responsibility if you take her. So you can't have the fun without the responsibility. So it's a package deal. So when I came into my situation with my beautiful wife, she has 2 children, and their dad was out of their life. But I told them, I'm not your dad, but I'll be the best friend you ever had. I'll be there for you no matter what. And most of y'all, I just talked to him last week. He didn't know that they weren't my kids. but that attests to when I gathered them up, I made that better. As a man, you should never bring something in and let it fail. It's your responsibility. When you sign that paper and you say I do, you say I will for life, for everything. It's no, this is my child, I buy him a bike, I'm not going to get them one. You're not a man. That's not what men do. That's not what real men do. You are to bring that situation up and hold it up as men. That's why we're built the way we are. We're built with broad shoulders. We are supposed to be the strength and the leaders of our families, right? That's what they call us men, right? Okay, I'll just check.
I just want to add to that right quick and say that it takes a different type of man to take on, to hop into a blended family situation.
Absolutely.
You got to have a different type of mind to want to say, hey, listen, I'm going to make your kid my kid. You know what I mean? It's a different, exactly. Hey, honorable mention, Leon Jackson.
Yes, sir.
Honorable mention, Leon Jackson.
Yes, sir.
Who is the man, But it takes a special breed of an individual to say, you know what, listen, I take full responsibility of you and all that comes with you. And listen, I'm going to love you the same. I think that's a special person. Yeah. So I wanted to, encourage any man who is dealing with a female who's got kids, or even if the man got kids. And because here's the thing, because if he got kids, she coming into something. You know what I mean? So that's a special breed altogether of like saying, hey, listen, I'm saying I do and I love you. I will to whatever's going on with you. That's special. That's special.
Let me say this real quick, and I'm gonna let you have it. I want to mention this also because we have single mothers that are watching, and single mothers that are present with us. And I only know this because I watched this happen to my son, because when he first met his lady, she was not exposing her child to him immediately. Right? And it took quite some time before he got a chance to meet and to have a conversation with Melania. And his concern was, won't let me see. I said, that's because she's trying to make sure that you're not coming and going. That you're going to be here. Now, here's when I knew that he had sold out to her. I called myself trying to address a situation in the kitchen while he was taking care of her. And he said, no, you wrong. She's mine. He picked her up. When he did that, I was like, oh, yeah, you got it now, bro. You got it. Because the reality is, watch this, what we do is we play this game. But ladies also, let me say this, you can't be open for the game.
That's right.
Yeah. You can't be the piece on the board that says, as long as you pay a bill, I'll let you in. And Come on, come on. Say, no, I was going to say amen. But watch this though. But here's the reality though. Here's the reality. You single mothers that are watching now, you cannot keep shoveling men in and out of your life while your children are watching, because it's going to confuse them growing up. I'm the product of a single mother. I'm sure she had things that need to be taken care of as a woman, but I never saw men come in and out of the house. If she went on a date, she was on a date. Watch this. I didn't even see who was in the car, right? Because it wasn't going down like that.
Watch yourself.
Don't worry, PJ ain't gonna kill me. But my point is, this is my point, is that as much as we put on men to be men in this situation, ladies, we need you to have a standard.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You have to have a standard. And I don't say that to try to make you feel small. I say that as a father to many of you, because watch this. If you let 3 or 4 men in your life and they don't stay, and your child is 2 years old, 3 years old, 4 years old, 5-year-old, or 15-year-old. This is what a 15-year-old is hearing in the street. Right? Oh, yeah, I heard so-and-so talking about your mom. Because that individual that you let in your life is going to let something out about your life. Right? And they're going to hear this in the street. Watch this. It's going to create an emotional thing called anger. And they're going to start to take that anger out in the wrong place. You see what I'm saying? So you have to make sure you protect your life, your house, and your child. Like, watch this, because that's not about you. You can't make emotional decisions. Who is this individual I'm bringing into the house? How's he going to be? What's he going to be like? And that means I have to wait long enough to see whether or not, are you the real thing or not?
Let me quick throw this in. So just for all single people dating, let me just help you with something.
Unmarried, they're called in the Bible.
Unmarried single people, I got you. Listen, the word dating comes from the Latin word data. So when I'm dating, all I'm doing is collecting data. So listen, you ought to be moving based on the data. If the data doesn't line up with what you want in your life, then listen, I'm not moving on that. You know what I mean? So wrap your mind around this. All the information that you're collecting about the individual, we should be discerning. You should be discerning. You should be watching and looking and seeing who the individual is before they even know who your kids are. Do you know who they are? Because the reality is you're bringing them into your space. And according to the data, if the data matches up and it's a fit for you and you prayed about it and you sought God about it and you got wise counsel and all that good stuff, go for it. But if the data is wrong, trust the data. Trust the data. If what you're looking at does not match what you want in your life, trust the data. Trust me, trust the data.
Constantino, hold on. Constantino,
So one important thing about that is too, you're not just collecting data, having fun, and everything is peaches and roses. You got to talk about everything. You got to see that everything is lining up, like on the goals that you have, like all the rules that you have. So everything has to match up in order to, okay, then we're taking another step. But, we're still collecting data and seeing where it's going. But it's not all fun and games.
And don't forget, in this, the kids are watching everything and they pick up on everything. I remember before we really got settled, like financially, I was the only one working, and we moved a lot because I got behind. We knew we were about to get evicted. All right, come on, let's find another apartment. And one year, my oldest son said to me, Joseph said to me, Dad, we moving again? And that checked my pride. I'm like, yo, I'm the one paying bills here. But I had to think about it. He's feeling like he's latchkey, like there's nothing consistent. We have another address. We've got another place we're moving. So you're bringing men in and out of the house. They're picking up on that. They're picking up on this, this is Uncle so-and-so. Nah, this ain't my uncle. I never met them before. They wasn't at the barbecue. So now all this data we're talking about, the kids are also collecting data. And the more you bring in, the more they learn. And the kids now in this generation are a lot smarter than we were. They have more access. They can take a facial picture. Oh, let me stop.
Listen, don't get mad. Don't get upset.
They'll find out who he is.
Don't get upset. Don't get upset because the kids now are asking questions. It's no longer do as I say. It's no longer because I said so. You're going to have to explain logically what's going on with the kid and what's happening. What's happening in your world. Because here's the reality. Your kid loves you. Your sons are, listen, they are protector of your life. And so listen, so mom, so what are you bringing into our life?
Listen.
What are you bringing over here?
Go
ahead, Carice. Go ahead, Carice, please.
All I'm gonna say, if
Got
my
some
wife
questions
was
after
collecting data, we wouldn't be married. I'm just telling you that right now. And I say that to say this, you know, I never had a problem, or I never thought when me and my wife got together, it was never a thought like, I don't want to seem like I'm replacing their dad, or I don't want them not to accept me as their father. I never ever went into my relationship like that. I went into my relationship like, man, God, you told me if I follow you, not only will you give back the years that I met, but my credit's good, and my kids all look like they came from the same parents. So I'm like, you even extended my children?
I can't do this with
So,
you.
so I was looking at it like, man, God did all of this. You know, I never looked at it like, because if my wife was collecting data, now, mind you, me and my wife graduated school together, and we were friends. We got a picture in 12th grade. I'm like this, and I wasn't with her in 12th grade. We were just friends. You know, 12 years later, we were married. You know, no, I'm sorry. We graduated in 99. We got married in 2014. What I'm saying is that I told my wife, fresh out of jail, I ain't got nothing. I said, the only thing I got is what God showed me. I said, I'm scared. I feel like a newborn baby out here, and I don't know where this is going to go. And you know what my wife said?
That's good data that
She
you
thought
gave.
so, because she said, I love you.
Right.
I said,
Made.
And the reason why was because I was honest.
Yeah.
And then when I stepped foot on the ground, everything that I told her God showed me started happening like this. It started happening like this. So every decision we made after that became easy because she seen that I was leading, God was leading. And I was just following, and there was no in between. I could have went, my wife lived in Florida.
You are saved, huh?
She owned her house in Florida.
Boy, saved.
I could have went to Florida, palm trees and sunshine. I can't go because God said there's something that people need to see here. I got a testimony that people need to see here. I got work that needs to be done here. I can't come there. My wife said, I'll sell my house and come to you.
Wow.
I lived in my grandmom's attic.
Yes, you did. Yes, you
Because
did.
of the data?
Because of the data. That's wonderful. Yeah, let's field some questions. We're going to run over just a little bit. I think this is going very smoothly. It's going very good. I think it's very helpful. Some people have questions. If you are in our audience and you want to ask questions, how do we get them? Do they connect? Do we have some here? They have them? Okay, good. Oh man, that's good. Wow, we got it going on here at the heart. Okay, Heart of God, y'all all right? Go ahead, Sister Lenise.
Okay. Big question here. So how or why, can you speak on how or why do men that create babies, and if they don't like their mother, how do they just choose to not want to be a part of their life?
I can say something to that.
Can you repeat that again?
I'm going right
I'll
after.
repeat it for you.
You repeat it for me.
How do men decide not to be part of their kids' lives because of the mother? You know, well, I don't represent that type of person. However, what I've did notice is that person has a lot less stress. A lot of times, these men choose not to deal with their children because they can't handle the stress of the woman that they had that child by.
Right.
You know, and as a man, when you take on that, like I had to tell my wife, like, listen, you're not going down to child support no more for this guy. It's a headache. Like, what are you going there for? They cool, we cool. Just leave that alone because it does nothing but stress you out. You know, so a lot of times these men find it a lot less stressful to just disengage completely. You know, and I'm just seeing it in my two boys' lives as they grow. Like, that man had no stress from my wife. No, I had all the stress.
I just got one question.
They dropped his child support. I was paying child support, and my kids was with me.
I just got one. I got one question. I just want to know: was it stressful making the baby?
My.
That's
the question. That's a good question, sir.
I'm just asking for the people in the back.
That's a good question.
I'm just asking for the folks in the back.
But listen,
I'm just curious to know. Here's the reality. When sex happens, science happens.
Right.
Let's just talk about it. When sex happens, science happens. Jane and Jill getting together. Bobby coming.
Not Jane
Bobby.
and Jill.
Yeah, word.
Listen,
Jack and
Jill.
Jill,
Excuse
bro.
me.
Yeah.
Jack and Jill. Listen, Bobby coming.
Yeah,
Bobby on the way. And the reality is, I believe that I don't want to take responsibility for the fun we was having, knowing that responsibility was coming. And that's the reality. Listen, when the baby pop out, your name changes immediately. You go from being Bob to being Dad. That's a fact. And listen, that's all responsibility. So just wrap your mind around that. So that's the question. I just want to know.
Listen, that wasn't a question,
I
that was a
want to know,
statement.
was it stressful to make the baby? That's my question.
Listen, that you gotta ask somebody that.
Let me go.
I mean, all my kids.
Go ahead. Go ahead, because they clowning that.
Because
However, the question is, why do they do that?
let me go.
You know
I
what I'm
got
saying?
you.
We can provide solutions all day.
Here's what I will say. Like I said, I have a couple different homies. Some of them have multiple children with multiple people. What I will say is this. Women,
Be careful how you say that.
the relationship
Thank you.
is to be with the child. Okay? There's a lot of women who can't acknowledge that the fact that the relationship is no longer you and him. It's just you and the child. So back to my homie.
It takes two.
He called me.
That was good.
He called me. Yo, Juice, can I use the will? I gotta take such and such of this and such and that. I'm like, man, you know all these kids. But mind you, he's at least doing what he's supposed to do for his children. Now, when he goes to pick the children up and drop the children off, first thing out the baby mom's mouth is, well, how did you get this? Well, whose car is that? Well, how about I'm just getting my kids like you asked me to do?
I'll say this.
Don't be grumpy.
Carice, we got.
I need the backdrop.
Go ahead, Carice.
I need the backdrop because I'm now I know what I said, where it's coming from. My first child, I fought for him, and you know I was in your office crying. I was on this altar when nobody was here, crying. The call of my life is specifically for men, so the devil always attacked my boys. And that attack always came from the mother. And that no matter how involved I was or how involved I wanted to be, you're looking at a guy that fought for both of his biological children pretty much all of their life. I was fighting for Trayvon, and he lived with me. I'm like, you still got me on child support? He don't even live with you. So when I say a lot of times men want to back up because they can't deal with their mother, that's what I'm saying. Like, I ain't never back up. My fight was for my kid. I'm not giving them an excuse, but I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that I ain't look at other people like, hey, man, I have a lot less stress because you seem like you don't want me to be there anyway. Because my son became a pawn to your hurt.
Yep.
That part.
Let me just quick throw this out to answer the question. I want to just answer the
Y'all
question.
can clap.
I think it's
Listen.
Y'all can clap.
I love my church.
I'd like to try to answer the question. So I don't know why they're stressed out about it, but I will say that you have to find a way to co-parent because the baby's here. The baby's here. We have to find a way to be able to figure this out. How do we co-parent? How can we just be friends just to make sure that the baby grows up right and has an amazing life? But listen, but the baby cannot be the point of contention.
Right.
The baby cannot be the point of contention. Listen, we were having fun making the baby, but we ain't friends no more. That's all fine and good. He's still here. She's still here. How can we figure this out for the baby?
But me.
One of the things that happens a lot, mainly from the female side, because they're most of the time with the kid, is they're using the kids to hurt, quote unquote, that other parent.
Yes.
And they don't understand that the damage that you're creating is to that child. that person is like, oh, she's making it impossible for me to see my child and spend time with him, then, I'm out. But then the kid slept behind with like, hey, my dad doesn't want to like spend time with me and know me and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, they don't understand. They're innocent.
Yeah. Good, Joe. You want to say something?
No, he said what I said.
Listen, I'm a product of that. And when I say it all the time, when elephants fight, the only thing gets hurt is the grass. My father only had to pay $25 a week for child support. And when I really didn't care about the $25, I really just wanted him.
Sure.
That's all I wanted was him. Yeah. And what it did was he never had time. This is how he responded. I give your mother child support. That has nothing to do with I need you in my life. Right. You know what I mean? If my father had to talk to me for 30 minutes a day, I might have became something else, right? But we can't have this tug of war, because what happens is later on, psychologically, I don't know who I blamed, but I thought it was my fault. And the anger, the stuff I went through for all those years, using drugs, selling drugs, womanizing, all that other crazy stuff, couldn't finish anything. Every time we got in a situation, fell apart, right? Because I was angry. But until I found out what I was angry about, that thing had the upper hand on me. So we put our children at jeopardy when we're talking about, well, I think I know what I'm going to do. I'm not going to let you see your children. All right? Don't do that. Don't do that. And watch this. That's proof that, and that's an immature woman, right, to do that. Not only are you angry, you're immature, because that child needs their father, right? So I'm saying the same thing that everybody's saying. Watch this. It can be stressful, but the other side is the child is the only one that's going to be impacted emotionally. Yeah. All right? We're gonna field some more questions. Y'all still good?
Can I just do something right quick?
No.
Right quick.
No.
Right quick.
We're fielding questions, Pastor Horton.
Okay. Next question. Should we control our children's future or allow them to pick their own ways?
I like that. Should you control? No, but strongly influence based off their characteristics and the things that they like? Sure. So like my oldest daughter, she's really good at drawing. She paints. She does things with her hands. She's very creative. Well, I say, hey, you need to go be a doctor. You can make $150,000 a year. I work with clients that have, $500,000 in their 401k. By the time they're 30, you need to be doing that, because that's not feeding their passion. You got to find out what their passion is and then strongly encourage them with the steps on that road. So you can't force them, because it's not going to work. My dad tried to force me to play basketball. I play football. How about that? Right? It's not going to work. But the minute he accepted it, all right, you can be rough, put your hands on people. He's bringing my Uncle Parrish down. We going to games. He don't even know touchdowns and stuff like that. But he yelling and screaming. My dad looking at me in the stand, and I'm going crazy. Next person's getting it, because my dad is there, because he strongly encouraged my passion. So that's what you got to do. You can't force them, but you have to have a firm but gentle hand to help them go in the right direction.
Very important, because if you don't influence your children, it's like Bishop say all the time, how do you bind a strong man? Or how do you take the house? First, you have to bind the strong man. So if you're bound and you're quiet and you're not shaping your children's future, you're going to regret a lot of things that you didn't say. And when they make mistakes that you're like, how in the world? It's because you were silent. And there's a lot of things that you'll look back and say, man, I wish I would have said something then, or I wish I would have said that. Spare the feelings. We can deal with the feelings, but I wish I would have said something or done something or offered an alternative solution, because you knew that wasn't going to work. But you just let them just go, whatever. So no vision is dangerous for your children. You have to have some kind of input.
I think that we're there to direct, not to control. As fathers or parents altogether, we're there to direct. Because if you have multiple children, like my one son, he was in tech school. He said he wanted to be a mechanic.
This Ty?
Yeah. He wanted to be a mechanic. Have you ever worked on cars? No. What do you like about cars? I like your car. Well, that's not being a mechanic, son. I just put rims on it in the system. That's it. You don't like the cold. You know, when you go in that garage, they're going to open the door up, right? Okay, so as a father, I'm not a dream killer, but I got to be like, no, we got to make a different plan because I'm responsible for you becoming 18 and being successful. So let's try construction. I mean, even though he drives trucks now, but he found his passion. But if I would have just said, oh, yeah, go ahead, well, he's not going to be a mechanic because that's not what he wants to do. My other son, he plays basketball. I had to identify, okay, well, is he a real basketball player or is this just a hobby? Yeah. He got to be 6'8". I said that this might be a real thing. So, you know, but if he didn't put the passion in for the practices, the AAUs, and all that, then that would still be a pipe dream because I would have to say, listen, man, I understand you 6'8", but you're going to be 6'8" at McDonald's if we don't get something going on. Right? So we have to also feed that passion and direct them, not control them. Because once control goes, then they're going to rebel. Now you're trying to force me because I wanted to be a basketball player, so now you're trying to live through me. Nah, bro, do what you want to do. Let's just be successful.
Listen, let me say this. Can I talk a little bit? Thank you very much. I think sometimes we get mixed up with friendship and parenting. Mm-hmm. Your child is not your friend. Your child is not your friend in the beginning. There's certain things we have to identify. This is the direction. I need to help you make the right decision. And you might not like that decision. You might not like what I'm telling you have to do in the beginning. But at a certain point, when I start to see you can make better choices, then, okay, well, tell me how you're going to do that. Right? Then you give me an explanation to how your plan is going to come to pass. And then later on, when your child gets to be an adult, now we're friends. Right? Because at an early ages, they can't be your friend. They can't be your friend. Even though, you know, y'all cool and everything, and y'all had them when you was young, they can't be your friend because when they're your friend, they don't listen to you. They start to talk back to you, and then all of a sudden you have to, you know, I don't want to say it in public, we have to knock a head off somewhere. You know what I mean? That's what happens. It's the truth. Amen. Go ahead, Constantine, you want to say something?
No, two things, nature and nurture, right? So they're born with certain things, right? Like you were saying, 6'8" and stuff like that, but then it's our guidance, our love to, you know, get them there. And the main thing, us as parents, as fathers, we're the model, we're the role model, right? So we can't say, you know, do this, and that without showing them. We got to show them how to do things, and then they'll follow.
Go ahead.
Right quick.
I'm gonna let you talk. Listen, because I knew who I had on the set. I got a bunch of talkers for a reason. Go ahead.
Right quick. So I just kind of feel like as a parent, we have to be like the bumpers at the bowling alley. The goal of the bumpers in the bowling is so the ball doesn't go into the gutter. So listen, we're totally guiding the life of the individual. Whatever it is that they want to be or do or aspire to do, listen, our job is simply just to guide them in that path. But I don't want you to I don't want you to fail. I don't want you to not succeed. I don't want you to kind of fall apart. Mm-hmm. So that's what I put that out there.
See how short he was?
I actually just went through this challenge with Trayvon this past year with going to different colleges and visiting them. I think most of y'all pretty much know every college in America wanted Trayvon. So there was a lot of decision-making that needed to happen, and there was a lot of visits that we had to go on. And in the middle of that, Trayvon now boards at his school. So now he's not even living in my house. He has to make a very important decision in his life. He has to make a very important decision in his life when it comes to college. He just turned 18, so now he got this I'm a man thing going on. So it was very challenging for me because I had to sit back and go to these colleges, you know, and as the father, I'm not talking to him, I'm navigating with the coaches. What are you offering? If my son comes here, you know, and these coaches are having dialogue with me, I'm in the background and I'm listening to him. He don't want to go to certain places because he has preconceived notions about that place. And the moment I tried to step in, I noticed that he got really, really rebellious. So then I had to have a conversation with him because I understood that he was growing. And I said, how would you like me to approach this situation? And my son said, can you please just conversate with my college counselor? I said, that's what I'll do. And I went over there, I talked to his college counselor, and the college counselor said something to me and it helped me through the rest of the process. She said, Carice, I just let him think what he's going to think, say what he's going to say, and then at the end, we sit down and we start knocking out these preconceived notions, and we help guide him into the decisions that he's going to make. Because the only thing that I have a decision on is what's going to come out of my pocket when you go. And at this point, nothing was coming out of my pocket, so it's all him. And we went all the way around the world, and this joker chose the last school, USC, all the way in California. And I said, I called that coach, what do you offer my son? Because I'm not coming all the way to California for nothing. and that was that. They gave him a full
We got
ride.
another question. How many more questions we have?
Actually, there's three.
All right, we're gonna get these 3 questions in, then we're going to close out because, you guys did a wonderful job. I think we can do it again, because you guys talk a lot.
So two, I'm going to somewhat combine. So is there a difference between an absent father and a present but checked out father? And what are the differences in impact? But also, how do you make sure that your trauma of an absent parent and the relationship not working doesn't filter down to the child?
Yeah. So how is an absent father different than a father who's present but checked out? So that's the visibility and accountability that we were talking about. So an absent father is someone who is just removed from the situation, whether it be, don't want to deal with the mom, right? Or it might be work priorities, or it just might be downright, listen, I don't even want to have you, quite frankly, and your mom went ahead and did it kind of deal. And it's unfortunate that it is that way, but, in the eyes of the law, the woman, it's her body, her rules. So, that's how that goes. Now, a father who is checked out, right, is someone who is physically there. You come home, you kiss the kids, you kiss the wife, you see what's on the stove for dinner, but then you go to your place. And then in your place, you can't be bothered. Not a knock better come, not a call better call through. Don't nobody bother me. And I think that is worse, because at least when you're absent, that child knows you won't be there. But when you are physically present, right, and not available, it's like, dang, Dad, yo, listen, son, get out of here. Get out of here. That's worse for you to spit in my face while I'm right there in front of your face. I'd rather you spit on me while I'm not around. Like, you got the heart to spit on me, I'm right here? The only time I couldn't wake my dad up was for a nap, and I understood that because he was working. But any other time, he could be like, Just, what is it, man? What is it? Yeah, you think I can make a chocolate milkshake? There's only 2 eggs left, and I don't want, mom to say I ate this, that, and the third, or I just want to clear with you. Yeah, Doc, go ahead. All right, I'm going back to sleep. And then that was that. But he was present. He was not available, but he was still present in mind, body, and spirit. So I think that's important that, like I said, if you're out there, man, you have children that you haven't connected with, and you are choosing to be absent, stay that way.
I agree. I agree with what you said. To be there and not be there, be accessible, is worse than the one that haven't been there. Like, I never had my dad until later. Yep. So all I can do is imagine what he looked like, what he sounded like. I had a small memory of him, and I held on to that. But if somebody was there, if they're there and I can't touch them, and I can't get from them and access them, I think that would have hurt me way more. Because I had no malice towards my father, except for the fact that you weren't there. You know what I mean? And my mom is here with these kids, and you weren't there. So all I had to do was lean on what my mom said about him and what other people said about him. But for him to be there, like, I couldn't imagine and not have any ability to access him or to get from him, and I can see him every day. That has to be harder.
And to further that, like you said, the children, right? This is SuperDads, so we're focusing on the relationship between a father and the children. We're not talking about mom and kids. We're not talking about grandparents and kids. We're not talking about pop-up and kids. We're talking about father and kids. And in the Bible, it talks about the father is the one who leads the household, right? So I'm looking at you as a leader. So if you're present but not available, that means to lead, I can be present but not available. So I'll carry that emotion, carry that process, carry that structure in anything that I do. And if I have a relationship with a lady and then we end up, hey, I'm here, but I don't really got to be here. I'm checking the box. I don't got to do too much. I could just sit here, kick my feet up, have my coffee, and sit back because I'm here, right? Wrong. Go ahead and be absent. Be absent.
Question, come on. I can't believe they stopped talking. That's why I'm kind of lost. They cooperated. We're ready to close out.
Okay. Should there be a line for men on what they will and will not share with their partner, or should they always put all their cards on the table?
I'm lost.
There's a line.
That ain't got nothing to do
So,
with
so
kids.
are you sharing everything
Fatherhood.
or keeping secrets, basically? So
Is that
that's
what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, should there be a line for what men will and will not share with their
Let-
partner?
So your partner is supposed to be your best friend, your, ride or die. So, I'm in my relationship, we share everything. We're gearing and driving to the same goal. So, there's no secrets. There shouldn't be any secrets if we want to accomplish and be successful.
Are we talking about with money?
Yeah, what kind
If
of
we talking
line?
about
Everything,
with money,
everything.
It's a different line.
Yeah, because like there
some-
has to be a
talk
line.
about it,
And if
Bishop.
we're talking about
Talk
with money,
about
it's
it.
a different line.
Talk
Amen.
about it.
Let me. I got experience with this. Amen. But if
Mom,
we're talking
I got your
about
back.
money, there's a different line. Amen. Sometimes. No. But listen, I think you can share everything. But I think there's certain things that I don't share only because it might be detrimental.
Yes.
It might affect them more so than it affects me.
Yep.
So I got to have another avenue. Every man doesn't. You're not going to talk to your wife about all your man things.
Right. That's the line. What we do at the barber
You're not going to talk to your wife about all your man things.
Let me go.
I'm not going to talk to my wife about my man. I'm going to find another man to talk about man things.
Let me say this. Shout out to my barber again, Honest White, freshest in the game. Go ahead and see him at my Uncle Joe's shop. So that line, I would equate it to the barbershop for the fellas and the hair salon for women. When you go inside that barbershop, thankfully now I'm able to have those conversations. You know that what happens here stays here. Docs might be talking about their marriages, might be talking about what they did with the side chick, might be talking about their kids. This is stuff that they're coming to other grown men they ain't never meet before and can share because they know it's a safe space. They have commonality. We're all men, okay? At the hair salon, y'all getting your hair done, y'all getting your nails done, staying beautiful, this, that, and the third. Y'all got y'all tea that y'all talk about. I don't want to hear about that when you get back from the shop. What I want to talk about, what's on the table and when are we going to bed? You know what I'm saying? So I don't got nothing else I want to hear about. So that line is important because
Your mother's here.
Keep that stuff. I got here because of her. That line is important because you have to be able to establish the differentiation, like what is us, what is you, and what is me. You know what I mean?
I mean, I think also, I don't talk to everybody has a different role in my life.
Right.
So I don't have the same conversation with my mother that I do with my wife.
Right.
And when I'm talking about sometimes with my mother, I'm not sharing with my wife.
Right.
And vice versa. I'm not talking to my mother about some of the things I'm talking to my wife with. I think there always is a line. And I don't think that line is necessarily deceit. I think that line is just the line that you just quite naturally need to have for whatever reason.
I disagree. All right. So look, I don't think that line is a line. I think that line is a dotted line. I'm gonna call it dotted line, just for me.
So it could pass through.
Yes, 100%. I've been married 21 years, and that she knows everything about me, and I want it that way. We have accountability one for another. So I think that question is pending the relationship. It's dependent because everybody's situation is different. So listen, it is not a broad brush that we're painting with. It's situational. You might want to keep stuff away, and that's all fine. That's fine for you. But if you're transparent, hey, like with like me and her, she gonna know everything, and I'm gonna know everything about her, and that's how we function. But if you function with a hard line, have a nice day. That's okay. But I function with a dotted line, and listen, some things I gotta share, some things I'll kind of hold back because I agree it may be detrimental or it may not be beneficial for you to know. So I'm gonna keep that, but I'll take care of it. But ultimately, you're aware of what's going on because that's how a relationship works, I think, my opinion.
So the
I feel
line
like
is
you
there.
said both.
The line is there.
You said both.
The line is there, but I said, but for me, it's a dotted line.
Okay.
It's not a hard line.
But what you got to realize is you want to share everything, but the problem that he's probably having is every time I come to share it, your reaction.
Yep.
So if I come to share my innermost, deepest things and you freaking out,
Never mind.
I can't trust you with what I have here. So now you're not a safe place for me to bring that. So then we become
Positive.
guarded. Yeah, that's where the lines and the walls come from.
And that's super unfortunate because here's the
Yeah.
reality. Whatever relationship you're in, hey, I should be able to fight outside, all my battles outside, but when I come home, this is a safe space.
I should be able to take armor off at home.
Take
I
the
should
armor
be able
off.
to undress at home and let my hair down and say X, Y, and Z and be okay with it and not have to worry about that information being used against me.
Yeah.
Listen,
Yeah.
listen, if your man is not talking to you, it's because he know that you are holding tapes in your head. That is a fact. And at any given time, that information comes back up, he will never talk to you again. All conversation
It's
stops.
called weaponizing.
And listen, you cannot weaponize what's going on with that man when he's being vulnerable because it takes a lot for a man to be vulnerable.
Say that again. Say it again.
It takes
Say it
a
again.
lot for a man
Louder.
to be it takes a lot for a man to be vulnerable. When a man gets to a vulnerable state, listen, he's saying that I trust you. If you violate that trust, forget about it.
It'll
Listen,
take
all
forever.
it's raps. I no longer trust you.
Yeah.
I can't tell you nothing at all because I don't like the way you respond. And on top of that, I don't like how you use different information against me. That's a scary thing to be in the house with somebody who's going to weaponize what's going on with you. That's scary.
Let me say this. Let me say this. If he can take his armor off when he comes home and with you, and you weaponize something that he says, he will put armor back on.
In the house.
You may change your mind, but he will not change his. And it takes forever to pry open the can of beans to get to what's inside him again. Because men have to deal with trust, right? There's a lot of things that we are exposed to, right? Especially when you're leading and you're somebody who's working, you're doing all this other stuff, and then all of a sudden, I want to share this with you, but you know, I did before, and last time I did, you flipped. All right, well, I'll tell you what, let me just keep it to myself, right? Because I can't trust you with my heart. The reason why Samson has an issue, and the reason why Delilah can get to him, is because she found a place to his heart. So you have to find a way, watch this, can he rest his head so you can get to his heart? Because if he can't do that, then watch this, he's going to put his armor on. It's hard to take that armor off once you get to a place where you can't trust again. I want to get ready to close out. Is that all our questions?
Who asked that question?
We
Who
got
asked
time.
that question, Lenise? Who asked it?
Don't you tell him.
Who asked that question?
Anonymous.
We're not.
Give us two more.
What you got? How many questions you got left in there?
7.
There's two. I'll
All
read
right.
them both together if you want.
Listen, there's 2 questions. Y'all got
Meet go last.
1 minute. 1 minute period.
Yeah,
to
give,
talk
give,
about
give
it.
me let me
'Cause
have the
I don't know what
salutation.
Justin talking about. He the one he been jacking the mic the whole night. But
Who did I get it from?
everybody blaming me now. Come on, let's go.
I'm going to read both questions. How do you know the difference between you sacrificing versus you just being selfish and doing what you want first? And then what advice could you give to men with unchecked mom and dad issues and the impact on how it affects them showing up as a father?
I'm answering this real quick. Two things.
Go see your pastor.
Yeah, dang, you just took my line.
Yeah, counseling. Yeah.
I'm done. No, but I'll answer the other one. Sacrifice hurts. So when it feels like you're pulling on something, and like, man, you have to think about it, that's the sacrifice. Being selfish is being like, I know I was supposed to be at Trayvon's track meet. I had all the time in the world to get there, but I want to get me a big gulp instead because I worked all day. I'm not going. That's selfish. You could have got that big gulp, got back in your truck, and won in your work clothes. You didn't have to go get Dougie. You could have just.
Self feels good.
It feels good. It's the flesh.
Go ahead, Carice. You got 1 minute.
I can't come behind him. That's great.
Pastor Horton, you got 1 minute.
No, I'm good on that.
Go,
It's okay.
Constantino, go ahead.
No, I would say I live my life just for my family. So I'm sacrificing myself for the betterment of them. Then, whatever comes back to my way, then that's it. That's the only.
Mike, come on.
Yeah, I would just say definitely counseling because it's something that men won't do naturally. So if you can influence a man to do anything and you feel like he has the mother, father issues or whatever, influence him to speak to somebody. Like if he don't want to speak to you about it because he's guarded, really influence him to do that. So if you're going to use your influence, do that.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being a part of
Thank you.
Heart of the City.
First of many.
First of many. Before we close, because Constantino works at Family Services, and we're trying to get the word out about the many products, the many programs that we have at Family Services for men and for families. Can you briefly tell us what programs you have?
So I work with two programs. One is Parents as Teachers, where we help the families make that gap or better that gap in between when they're born and go to school. So betterment of the family overall, just to get them ready to school. Work with that parent-child interaction, focus on the development of the baby, and then the last thing is the improve the family well-being. And then the second one, I do a fatherhood program. It's called 24/7 Dad. I do 6 sessions with the dads. It can be done one-on-one or it can be done in a group setting. I do it virtual or in person, English or Spanish. And then at the end of the sessions, then they get a certificate of completion and then the main thing is just giving the fathers a space, or father figures a space, to understand that there's a lot of people going through the same things that you're going through, and give them the space to talk about it and internalize it and figure out how to navigate it.
So what's going to happen is you'll see, for those of you that are interested and you're watching tonight, you'll see the flyer being posted on our social media platforms. It'll be posted also on our websites. And I'm encouraging those men. Maybe you're not coming to church. Maybe you're not coming to the Boaz men, the 180 men sessions and whatnot. Maybe you don't feel comfortable with doing that. But you might feel comfortable going up to Family Services and being a part of 24/7 Dad. Right? Constantino, thank you for being here. Justin, thank you for being here. Carice, thank you for being here. Pastor Horton, thank you for being here. Pastor Mike, thank you for being here. Deacon Joe Bell, thank you for being here. Heart of God, thank you for being here tonight. Amen. To our live viewing audience, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Remember, when we talk about Heart of the City, we talk about clarity, connection, and community. Let me say this to you. You can't talk negatively about your community without it affecting you as well. So speak life. I'm Bishop Michael Anthony from the Heart of God and Heart of the City. Peace.
Sing a revival.